Hey, it's Wendy Rollins here for Alt 1057. We are side stage, I guess, of Lakewood with the gentlemen of Blink 182.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I am so excited that this is like, it's frankly perfect timing for me because you guys just announced the album. And you already knocked out my first question, which is why it's 9
Yes.
rather than 8.
Yes.
Uranus, Universal Love. And
Number 9 is the number of Uranus.
There's a few things I noticed about 9. September is the 9th month
True.
of the year. There are 9 figures when you spell out Blink 182 with the dash. There's like
That's
I
what I'm
think-
going with from now on.
You're like,
9.
actually,
Blink dash
that's the right-
182 and that I call it paint strokes, and people didn't know what I was talking about, so I guess that's not what it's called. But yeah, I did a little digging, but some of them are a stretch. But there's a bunch of 9 correlations.
Okay. All intentional, of
Yes.
course. Of
9
course, of
deadly
course.
sins.
9 deadly sins.
So the album is coming in
We're adding 2
September on the 20th, and I'm super excited about the Enema of the State tour. But I got to be honest with you, I really just want to talk about what's coming up for you guys.
Yes, please.
Walk me through this album. You guys worked with several producers on this one.
We did.
Okay, so how did you pick this out? I mean, I know you worked with John Feldman before.
We worked with John Feldman
Right.
before. We started writing the album in his studio, kind of caught our legs there. Went outside that studio, worked with a bunch of producers that we know and some people that we didn't know in and around LA, and put together a group of songs that we really love and think are awesome and can't wait for people to hear.
What is, as of right now, because we do have the titles now,
Yes.
favorite track personally, right now? Obviously,
Today I'm going to say Dark Side.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a jam. I think it's one of the better songs on the record for me.
Okay.
Mark and I have been working on the lyrics for the layout of the record. So I think I can only speak for myself, but I took a week break from just listening to the record. We were working on it so
Gotta do that.
diligently that I just needed to step away from it. Didn't really listen to much music at all. And then when we started doing the lyrics, I started listening to the record again. And the last couple nights, I've been listening to it at least 2 or 3 times in a row.
It's a great record.
And it is a very
saying.
good.
Just saying.
It is a really good record. I think I speak for all of us when I say that I'm very proud of it.
What was, and there may very well be different answers here. What was the toughest one for you to put together on this album?
There's a song called I Really Wish I Hated You that
Okay.
went through a lot of different iterations.
I really wish we never wrote that.
It's a really cool song. That's the song that took the most work. We went back over that probably 5 different times.
Really?
It's a great song, but it took a lot to get there.
Are you happy with what you have now, or is that one of those that you could have gone back to again?
No, I'm happy with the way that it turned out.
So it's arrived.
It's arrived.
Okay,
It is where it
okay.
needed to be. I think the first time, I think that everyone's gut is kind of in the same place when we hear something. It's kind of like, I don't know, a good producer or a good bellwether in the studio is just what does your gut tell you? And when we first did it, we were like, there's something great in there. It's not quite right. We took it all the way a different direction because before it was kind of mellow. We took it to a much heavier place that didn't feel right either. And so then we brought it back to this middle ground where it feels very well balanced.
Okay.
And people will understand. I know it's difficult to understand when you talk about music, but when you hear the song, I think it'll become evident.
Okay. Would you say the same song, or would you say it
Yeah,
differently?
same song, absolutely. We, without going through, getting into too many specifics, it was just there was a lot of push and pull from all different sides, and there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of very talented and opinionated cooks in the kitchen from kind of different, musical backgrounds. So everybody's very talented, but everybody is pretty stuck in their ways. As they have a right to be. So it took a while, but at the end of the day, it's up to the 3 of us, ultimately. And
Right.
and I think that we chose the version that sounds most like Blink, while still challenging the boundaries or lack thereof of Blink.
Do you have a favorite lyric on this album?
There's a lot of really good lyrics.
There's a lot of good lyrics on this record. I can't think of any right now.
None of which I could
Yeah,
remember.
none of which.
I like what I was listening last night, and there was different little things stick out to me in different times. Just like we all kind of have a favorite song depending on what's going on with the song, or
I know one that I like a lot because it's personal to me. It says, "I keep mixing Lexapro and coffee. It isn't helping."
That's really
Yeah. that's-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
really
Okay.
good lyric.
All right. Do you have one that springs to you?
I'll go with that one just because my brain is oatmeal right now.
Samesies. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
No, we worked very hard on the lyrics for this record. I think that every song, we went back over and analyzed everything down to the syllable and the phrase, and I think, I mean, as a fan of Matt's songwriting, I think that he's done some of his best lyric writing and melodies and stuff as a fan of his work on this record.
And
mean-
likewise with Mark. Like I think we both we worked really hard, and it's really one of my favorite things about playing with Blink, and particularly with Mark, is we both really like to read. We both are, I would say, wordsmiths, or at least fans of phrasing and wordplay and pun, and it's fun to challenge one another without being competitive. There's a lot of the record where I can't remember who wrote the line because we'd sing each other's lyrics. I think 75% of the time we sing stuff that, well, whatever. We definitely the end.
That's fine. That's fine.
You get it.
I noticed you said you like reading. Are there any books or films or something that you found yourself riffing off for this upcoming album?
Well, Matt and I kind of have this unofficial book and movie club where we recommend dark, awful things back and forth to one another, disasters, and
That's all I read.
Yeah, like Cormac McCarthy novels and Kubrick films and Stephen King.
Singing of the Lusitania.
Singing of the Lusitania. Yeah, so
Good old-fashioned natural
yes,
disasters.
I was reading. I was reading a book called Ask the Dust,
Okay.
which is a book that takes place in early 1900s Los Angeles and was a big influence on Bukowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Noted reading. There you go.
There you go.
And I've heard there's an EP potentially to follow this. Is that still happening? Is that still?
That is the plan. We have a lot of stuff that we didn't put on the record that we kind of set aside for an EP after the album comes out. It's some collaborations. We did a track with Pharrell and Lil Uzi,
Okay.
and we have some other stuff in the works as well that we are planning on putting out. The whole idea with Blink now is to just keep writing, keep recording, keep putting out music. I think that it's really exciting to live in this age where you can record and release music very easily.
Yeah, and I have seen a lot of bands that are like, should I put out an album? Do I just put out singles? Do I put out EPs?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I just keep trucking through this? And I think everybody's kind of navigating it on their own. What works for them?
Yeah.
When they're feeling inspired, put it out. If you're not, sit tight for a little while.
Well, and with streaming, like I remember before the internet, like bands like I remember J Church, really cool band from San Francisco, was guilty of this. They would put out a new record every like 3 months.
For real?
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's
A
just
full-length record.
Yeah, and this is when you'd have to go to the record store to buy a record, and it's too much to keep up with. Like even back then,
Yeah.
it's short attention span theater, and now I think with streaming, people don't feel so. It's the push of a button. They don't feel overloaded with. I feel overloaded with information, but that's just me.
I
But
get you.
I think it works with the times. Yeah.
I like that you also said short attention span theater because I say that, and sometimes people look at me weird, and I'm like, well, and they're like,
Sorry, I stopped paying attention.
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so there is potentially an EP. Does that have a tentative release time?
No.
Will that happen this year?
Probably not this year.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
It depends on when we finish it.
I was gonna say, but it's something you're
Depends on
actively
how
working
this
on.
Yes.
goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there people you want to collaborate with that's on your, I'm not even talking about the EP now, but somebody that you're like, you know what, I'd like to work with this person.
Someone that I've always wanted to work with that I indirectly got to work with on this record is Rich Costey. Is a huge hero of mine.
He's
And
He's badass.
he's badass, and I'm a fan of many of his records. I think he's made mixed a lot of bands' best records, and a lot of my favorites on the album are Rich Costey mixes.
okay. Okay.
He's
You?
great.
You got anybody on your list?
Well, I would say Robert Smith, but we already did that. So
You're like Bobby Smith.
oh,
Whatever.
that whole thing.
I'm so stoked on that new album. Sidebar.
New Cure?
Yeah.
Yes, it's happening.
I hope it's great. I
And
hope
there's
it's great.
supposed to
I
be a
have high hopes for
documentary
it.
too.
Is it out
What's
yet?
that?
There's a documentary coming too that apparently he personally is working on.
Oh, cool.
They did the concert film.
Yeah.
What, this month?
Yeah. I had a friend that saw it a few weeks ago.
In Hyde Park or something? Was it in?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah. Who else?
I don't know. I can't
Iggy
think of
Pop.
anybody off the top of my head.
Ooh, good
Iggy
answer.
Pop and Lou Reed are a couple people that would be cool to work with.
Isn't Lou Reed passed?
Lou Reed has. Did Lou Reed pass?
I think he did.
That's why it would be
I can't
cool.
keep up. Everybody's dropping these days.
Yeah.
Iggy, still there.
Yeah.
Iggy's definitely he's chilling in Miami. Yeah, Lou Reed passed away, I believe, last year.
Okay. Well, I feel like honestly, I've gotten all the information. I
got
really
more than I wanted to
No,
know.
no. I trust
Lou
me.
Reed's dead,
Go
so
on.
there you go. Have a nice day.
I really appreciate the time. I'm very excited about the new album. Again, coming September 20th, entitled 9, because of so many reasons that we'll get into later. And an EP next
EP in the future.
sometime.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Thanks so much to Blink 182, and thanks for watching here on Alt 1057.